suppose we should get rolling here. Hello, and welcome back to my stream series of Derail Valley here on YouTube. I am NicoFox. Thank you for joining me tonight. If you're joining for the first time, there is a playlist of the other episodes in this stream series that you can find. Let's see, when I'm done with this, I'll put a link up here in the upper right where you can go check that out. If you're returning, you'll remember that last time at the end we took a shunter up here to the player house to explore that. But as you can see, we're now on build number 81, and it looks like as part of that the shunter has despawned. So it'll be exciting to find out all that has changed and experience all that has changed in the new update that released over the weekend. All right, you may also notice if you are returning that there is a new there's a new element in the stream window today. So down there at the bottom you can see a progress bar. I will be running a fundraiser going forward. None of the money goes to me. It all goes to a group called the Advancement Project, and they're a group that works here in the US to advance the cause of marginalized people, especially the Black community. If you have not been paying close attention to the news, or perhaps if you have, there's been a lot of tension here in the US. And it's well past time that things have changed, so I'm just trying to do my part to help with that. And I'm gonna start moving my way towards the forest here, but I will mention that as part of the fundraising, which you can find in the description of this stream and this video if you're watching the replay, a link to the donation page, and as part of that there is a raffle that I'm hosting to incentivize and encourage folks to do what probably should be just, you know, good enough to be the goodness of their own heart, but why not, you know, up the stakes a little bit and have a raffle for folks. So I'll explain a little bit more in detail how that works later on in the stream. But what will be up for grabs is one or more copies of Derail Valley based on how well the fundraising goes. So I will mention that up front, and I'll get into the finer details later on in the stream here. All right, first difference I notice, print info button is green. The big differences in the update. All right, what sort of jobs do we have here? Actually, I'm curious to see what fees exist. No fees, all right. So I guess as part of clearing the locomotives, they have also cleared all the fees associated with them. So that's good to know. That means it could be time to buy a license. Oh, and I think they did that because they've added some new licenses, such as the shunting license, the logistical haul license, the manual service license. Yeah. So for instance, manual service allows you to manually service locomotives for half the cost that's listed in the career manager, includes repairs, increases insurance copay, no time bonus, does not affect time bonus. All right. And I think freight haul license you get by default. Freight haul owned, yes. Okay. So if I want to do shunting work, I'd have to pick up that license. This is heading to the sawmill. These are all heading to the sawmill. This one's, man, I'm blanking on the limits of the shunter, but I think this might be right about there at the limit, if not beyond the limit. Actually, I should see what locomotives I have available to me here, because that may determine what I do. Alright, it looks like we've got one shunter here, which is good. And so because of that, I'm also limited in the jobs I can take. But as I said, this is a particularly good time to pick up licenses, especially seeing the cash that I have in the wallet. And so I think one of those I'm going to want, because I think my deductible is pretty high at this point, considering the number of other licenses that I have. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up manual service. Yep. Logistical haul would be nice too. Man, the licenses are certainly adding up here in terms of how much you have to pay. Train length 2. Well, I don't have anything that can use that right now. But, oh, and shunting was another license I could pick up. Man. I think I'm gonna go ahead and grab all the low-hanging fruit here, the cheap licenses. Just to get those out of the way. Because I think that they will come in handy. Yeah. And honestly, I could probably pick up the DE6 now too. But since I have the servicing license, I'm not too worried about that at the moment. I don't really need to take this out. It can just stay there and wind up in the the lost and found soon enough. Alright, so I think I want to take this job. Just taking a nice easy one to start. This is headed down to Sawmill, which is an area of the map that I have not explored post-update. So that'll be cool to explore. Did I... Yes, okay. I got frightened for a moment that I had once again forgotten to turn on my microphone, but whew, I had remembered to do that today. Alright, so the way that this track feeds back into the main line, I think I'm going to want... I would love to be at the front of the train, but I think I'm going to be wanting to be pulling it backwards, and then I'll do a run around at the farm, and we'll head down this squiggly path. Well, you know what? I could take it around this way through Forest South, which might be a better way to go, simply because it will get me going in a forward direction. I can go in a forward direction the whole way down, and it looks a lot more straight of a path, meaning I could probably take it at a higher speed for most of the distance anyway. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and just couple up to the front of this and pull it down that way. Alright. So let's hop aboard here. Okay. I'll get going here. and get the locomotive back down on the cars that we're going to be hauling. And then once we do that, we will accept the job and be on our way. Man, this is a name that I'm going to butcher. Speckwalker? Trying to guess at which vowels I should insert here, but hello! Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you aboard. Hope you're having a fine day here, and hope you enjoy the time that you spend with us here in the valley. Feel free to chat at any time. Spacewalker. Ah, that makes a ton more sense. But yes, feel free to chat at any time. I have, I know it doesn't show up on the stream, but I can see what you say here in VR, and I check in every now and then and respond. Right now we're just getting set up here to do a haul down to the sawmill. And once we get underway, I mentioned at the beginning of the stream that I'm doing a little bit of a fundraising drive to help with some of the stuff that's going on here in the US right now. And as part of that, there is a raffle where I'll be giving away one or more copies of Derail Valley, depending on how the fundraising goes. And once we get underway here, I will go into some further details of that, so folks can know what's up. Alright, now I do not remember. Okay, this is the siding that it was on. Spacewalker, is this a new train sim? This is a game called Derail Valley. I've heard some folks say that it's not quite a true train sim, and to some degree I would agree with them. It is definitely a bit more game-oriented, gameplay-oriented than it is simulation-oriented. However, I will say that, especially in VR, although it is not, it's not exclusively a VR game, but especially in VR, it is incredibly immersive. And that is why I enjoy it so much, and what draws me in to play it. Aside from the fact that it's just a ton of fun. But yeah, so I mean, you're definitely looking at Derail Valley here, and you can judge for yourself what you think of it. But that is my opinion at any rate. And the brake pressure is built up, so we will get underway. And as far as whether it's new or not, the latest major update, which the development team has dubbed Overhauled, had been in the works for about a year before it was released, and there was a prior version of the game that was out before then, so at the very least it's more than a year old at this point. It definitely only came onto my radar within the last few months. Let's see if we can coast for a moment here. I'll just go throw this switch behind us and catch up to the locomotive. Alright. I believe that sign said we'll be going uphill here. So we'll want to add some throttle in. We're getting underway here. Headed down to the sawmill with some lumber. Or some logs, I suppose. Coming from Forest Central. So we've got a windy, curvy path ahead of us. It will be mostly downhill. And as I mentioned before, I will give some more details on that raffle once we get into some easier trackage. Should be once we get down to like the farm junction, and even past like the area where the sawmill, not the sawmill, but rather the steel mill is at. Spacewalker, you were just watching someone else that you watch lots doing a run to the harbor. Looks pretty good. And you saw my name pop up doing live, so figured you'd watch. Well, glad to have you aboard here. And hope you enjoy this stream as much as you enjoyed that other video. This is definitely this is part 13 in the series that I've been doing, so there's plenty more if you're looking for more in a playlist that you can find on my channel. So feel free to peruse at your leisure. But glad to have you aboard here today at the very least. This is definitely a little bit of a step back today. Haven't been running the shunter exclusively for a little while now, and had been having a lot of fun learning the ins and outs of the steam locomotive, but as there was no steam locomotive at the forest that we just departed, I was limited in my options, so we'll see if we can't swap out for a different locomotive at some point. Yeah, Spacewalker, thanks for the sub, and I've been mostly playing Derail Valley right now, although I've also played some, what is it called, To the Top, and some Alien Isolation as well, which has a VR mod, believe it or not. And I haven't been doing too much Beat Saber lately, but that used to be something that I enjoyed, and I'll probably get back into that at some point. Perhaps when I'm not training for a foot race and tiring myself out that way. Whew, definitely a heavy train. And I need to bring this speed under control. We're headed downhill and towards some sharp turns. And I suppose if I don't get it under control, you get to see what a derailment's like. Honestly, I haven't had too significant of derailments yet on this stream series, just some minor ones. But I'm sure that it will happen at some point. Alright, got some wheel slip there. Definitely think that this train is on the limits of what is possible to haul with the shunter. And Spacewalker, you say you've been hooked on SnowRunner the last few days. So you might look into streaming that sometime just to try something different. Yeah, it sounds great. It's definitely good to see folks finding ways to spend time and getting out there and trying new things like streaming. And I have not heard of, I think you said SnowRunner? Yeah. I have not heard of that game, but I imagine it must be pretty fun. But if you want, you can go ahead and say a few words about it and let me know what it's about. Otherwise, I can I'll look it up on my own time after this. But Alright, so we're getting into some section where it's going to be easier running. I can kind of open up the throttle here, especially since we'll be headed uphill soon. But yeah, so a little bit more info about how that that raffle is going to work. So like I said, there's a link in the description of this video where you can find the donation page. And as I mentioned, donations go straight to the organization, which is called Advancement Project. And there's one of the rewards, well, the only reward that you can choose if you so desire, is the Derail Valley raffle. That's what it's called. And basically how that works is you give me your Steam ID, or if you prefer it to be a gift for a friend perhaps, you just have to give me their Steam ID. Yeah, this is definitely at the limits of the locomotive here. But anyway, so it's a $5 minimum donation to enter for that. And once we get to $120 total donations, that will unlock the raffle and one copy of the game. And assuming we get to that point, which I certainly hope we do, there will be a new milestone. And again, at reaching the new milestone, that will unlock a second copy of the game. And then there'll be a third milestone, which will unlock a third copy of the game, and so on. So feel free to share that link with friends and encourage them to donate and share the link themselves. And I'm overheating my engine here. I think I'm going to have to perhaps run a little hot here. Can I do without sand? I can, okay. Just to get up this hill, but yeah, definitely feel free to share that link, encourage folks to donate, so we can reach that $120 mark and unlock the raffle. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, none of the money goes to me. It all goes directly to Advancement Project, who are working to make the world a better and more just place for the folks who need it most at this time. Alright, let's check into the chat here. Spacewalker, have I heard of Mudrunner or Spin Tires at all? No, I've not. But I take it from that, it sounds like perhaps some sort of four-wheeler, off-roading type a game. Perhaps a racing style. Is that correct? Let's see if we can coast here. Ah, we've got more uphill. Go figure. Let's see how far we can get with just our momentum. The answer is not super far. But luckily, it looks like we've got some flat terrain coming up, so that'll be good. Definitely still just as scenic of a view as it was before build number 81's update. And oh, we have a little bit of wheel slippage there, which I did not notice. Let's see if we can give it a little more juice then. Come on. Come on. Logging. Aha. So, logging as in, like, trucks? Like, carrying logs on trucks, I suppose? Ooh, man, just crawling up this hill here. But, yeah, cool. So I suppose that SnowRunner is a similar vein, and except you're dealing with snow instead of mud. Definitely being a bit abusive on the engine here, but just trying to get us up to some amount of speed. Looks like we've crested the hill. Oh yes, oh boy. That's a new one for me. I've not made it to that engine temperature just yet, so looks like it has an auto shut-off before it maxes out. Maybe around like 115 or so. Old trucks, lots of mud. Spacewalker, you say a lot more to offer than the previous versions that you just mentioned. Very nice. Well, that sounds cool. And sounds definitely enjoyable, and sounds like something that I'm sure folks, you know, enjoy watching. Those of us who've been streaming Derail Valley, driving trains around in this beautiful landscape, I'm sure that they will enjoy your stream just as much as well. That you'll have an audience for that, so definitely encourage you to have that and have some fun with that when you have the chance. We have engine power again, and this is definitely going to be quite the struggle to finish this haul today. We've still got a ways to go. Actually, I didn't look at the time limit that we had here. 33 minutes. So we'll see how well we do at that, but I'm not super duper optimistic about making that time bonus deadline. Spacewalker, you play a lot of American Truck Sim and other car games. Right on. I definitely have not played those kind of games, but there's definitely an audience out there for them. I think we're still headed uphill, so don't necessarily want to cut my throttle just yet, as we're still losing speed even though I'm throttled up here. Let me go ahead and just cut it for a moment, see how quickly. Yeah, we're losing speed pretty quick there, so then throttle back up and See if we can't sustain some more of the speed. Wow. Lots of uphill here. Definitely fighting gravity here with this load that is just a little bit over the rating of the shunter. But hopefully we can hold out and make it to the sawmill. It honestly looks like we're coming up to Forest South right now. Foxy, not sure if your question was directed towards me or towards Spacewalker, but I have heard of Farming Sim 19, and I think I remember some discussion in in the Derail Valley Community Unlocks channel. Some folks were talking about like, oh, it would be interesting if there was some sort of tie-in between games where like you go drive tractors around and whatnot in Farm Sim and create products to haul on a train like down to the food factory or the harbor or something. Which I don't know about that, but it's definitely things like interoperability between different games is definitely something interesting to think about. Well, so first time coming through Forest South here, and nifty to see the turntable, which is a new addition in the Overhauled update. I think this station, though, retained a lot of the characteristics that it had pre-update. So not a whole heck of a lot has changed there. It's definitely surprising to hear that they added, in fact, both coal and diesel service at Food Factory in town. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's diesel and repair service. Man, the glossiness of the map printing is kind of made it look like it was coal service there rather than repair service. Alright, track set up to take us down to the sawmill. Alright, we're getting into more twisty bits here. Definitely keeping an eye on that speedometer. And it looks like the worst of the hills are over now, so it's just a matter of riding it out until we get to the sawmill. And hopefully not falling off the tracks here. Especially with some of these steep slopes here, that would be an expensive derailment to have to deal with. Definitely pushing my luck a little bit here with the speed on this turn. looks like we've made it through. Spacewalker Nico, what VR setup are you using? I've been thinking of getting something. So the VR setup that I'm running is one of the original Oculus Rifts. I think they call it like CV1 or something. But just running it with two of the sensor cameras. But they're actually placed in like opposite corners. So like 180 degrees apart from each other, up, mounted on the wall/ceiling, and looking down towards the play space. But nothing fancy. It's just the VR setup that I happen to have access to right now. Definitely, I have looked into some of the more recent modern tech, and you know, you don't notice things like the I think it's been described as like a goggle, like a scuba goggle view that you get until you start reading folks talking about it and explaining that it even is there in the first place. And then you kind of go, oh yeah, you're right. Now that you mention it, I see it all the time. So I'd love to pick up something that has a little bit more clarity and field of view, perhaps, at some point. But for right now, this, you know, it suits the needs of just having something to get up and running. And that's good enough for me at the moment. Yeah, I'm kind of rather excited about the abilities that are coming out with like inside-out tracking. Although I'm not super keen on Facebook as a company, so if I had you know, more of a choice in the matter, I think I would choose a system other than the Oculus systems. Even though I know, you know, Oculus Rift S does have inside-out tracking and is definitely on the more affordable side, but you know, if I have the disposable income and the need/desire to pick up a VR system, I definitely see about spending my money elsewhere. I guess I'm one of those unusual individuals who doesn't have a Facebook account. My mate just walked in the room and said, "Fuck Facebook." Oh, I'm not supposed to say that. Heck Facebook. Yes, gosh dang, Jesse Eisenberg, twins rowing. What's the other stuff? Put in the time, put in the time. Mark Zuckerberg. And if you don't get that reference, then go search Game Grumps Mark Zuckerberg when you get a chance, and especially see if you can find the animated version, because that's even better. Alright, well I think we're getting pretty close. It looks like we've got one more cornered around here, and then we'll be pulling into Sawmill Station. Definitely pushing the limits of what the shunter can do by itself. I should probably have already looked at where this is going. We got some wheel slippage there. I'm gonna hope that we want to go this way. Let's see, Sawmill. Where's south? Oh, I think it's this tan one down here. Definitely wish there was an easier way to scroll through these pages in VR. Let's see. We're headed to B3I. I have this odd feeling that we've taken the wrong track here. Yep. So we actually want to be over there. I think I'm going to use this as an opportunity to... Well, you know what? Let's just, let's bite the bullet here and turn this train around. Definitely are slipping down this hill here. Oh boy. Perhaps I can add in some forward throttle here just to help us combat that downhill force. Let's see if we can't... are we going to need to use sand in order to get started here again? It's hard to tell. I think we're not moving at all just yet. Yeah, no, I think we're starting to slip backwards. So I'll need to add some sand here. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, this is problematic. Definitely might have been better to run through the station instead of coming back this way. And Matthew Erk, welcome to the stream. What is up? Not too much, just bringing this haul of logs into the sawmill and made a wrong turn and trying to make up for that mistake, which is proving a little bit more difficult than I would have hoped. And oh goodness, okay. Right. This is not looking good. Let us see. How many cars are in this? There's like 9 cars. So let's take the last 4. And let's go ahead and uncouple them. We will leave their brake pipe open for the moment to activate their brakes. And let's see if we can get this train underway and up to its destination. Even though we have like no sand left. Matthew Irk, yes, I am only running one engine. It was doing just fine, and honestly we made it up this hill with the momentum that we had, but I made a wrong turn and I had to do a little bit of backtracking, and I think that was my downfall. So I believe that this should be the track we need. And here, yes, we have 3I is where we're headed. Alright. So I'll go ahead and step out here and see if I can get those cars stopping while we continue to run around here. And we'll go pick up those last 4 cars. Yeah, definitely one shunter was a bit of a stretch for this haul, but it seemed doable, and honestly it probably would have been doable if I just hadn't have made that mistake here at the end. You can honestly run through here probably a little faster. There we go. Alright, just backing down on the last 4 cars here. Trying not to run into them too fast here. I think that'll do alright. Oh, no, they are like, I could have sworn the brakes were entirely on these, but it looks like a little bit of impact that they received was enough to send them down the hill a little bit here. So let's see if we can't just, right, back into them just enough here and be quick about this. Oh, somehow, even though it doesn't look like it should have worked, it has. And I'm full well prepared for this to start sliding down the hill here. So let's get a move on. Okay, come on. That's luckily not the worst that could happen with a case of mixed up switches. Just giving it a moment here to build up some pressure in the brake pipes again. I get the sense that I'm probably going to need to give these a small little bit of a push here. once we get up close enough to them. Oh, okay. Did I switch the wrong track? Did I not switch a track at all? Oh, did I switch that one? Oh, I must have switched that track. Ugh. Come on. Alright, definitely not my best day here in the valley, but it's alright. I'm relearning how I need to pay attention to certain things that I am not paying enough attention to, it would seem, today. Oh, perhaps that was a switch that I threw. Good thing I caught that in time. Alright. Should just be taking it nice and easy now, backing down on these other cars. I'm thinking we should have enough momentum here to make it all the way. May even hop down here, just in case I need to, yeah, well, it might have been a little rough, but we'll see. I can just go ahead and hook these up here like this, and I might as well just connect them together like that. Why not? Yep, because we're going to need to push them just a bit farther. Give it some time for brake pressure to build up again. And I'll use this moment again just to plug the fact that I am running a fundraiser starting today, which will run, it's actually going to run through June 1st. It is gathering some funds and sending them to an organization called Advancement Project, which is a national organization here in the US that helps people of color fight for their rights, which honestly, in the year 2020, they should already have, but here we are in a world where they don't. So I'm just trying to do my part. And as part of that, as a little incentive to help encourage folks to donate, I'm running a raffle where I am giving away a copy of this game that I'm playing, Derail Valley. And there's that raffle unlocks once $120 in total donations have been accumulated, and at each successive milestone I will add another copy of the game into the raffle. So if that is something that you're interested in, or if you just find it in the kindness of your own heart to donate to that cause, you can find a link in the description which will take you to there. And of course, if you are interested in the raffle, it's a $5 minimum donation, and be sure to select the reward, the raffle reward, and indicate either your Steam ID or the Steam ID of whomever you would like the game sent to, if you'd perhaps like it to be a gift for someone instead. Because that is where I will send it if you are the winner. Yep, there was definitely, I knew there was something funky going on with this cup there. Well, there we go. Alright. Did I say June 1? If I did, yes, I did mean July 1. And thank you, Matthew, for keeping me honest about my own dates. Because apparently I am too distracted to get them right. Oh, man, where is my brain today? Certainly not inside my head. We're low on sand and fuel, but I think I'm going to go ahead and take another job up to Goods Factory. And this one is a lighter job. I mean, it's still a little bit heavy, but yeah, I'm hoping we can do this just fine. And actually, once I couple up to these cars here, I'm gonna take a break for just one moment to grab a drink of water. My throat's getting a little parched. Let me do my homework here and try not to push the wrong button, but instead to line up the tracks for where we need to go. Alright, looking good. Let's hop back in here. Let's get a move on. Does, oh my god. Goods Factory in town does not have service, but Steel Mill does. Oh, and so does Oil Well. I'm thinking that I may stop by the service department at the Oil Well on my way to Goods Factory with this haul, because it certainly seems like I need some resources here. Alright, we will throw on the independent brake, and before I turn in this job, I'll go ahead and pause here for a moment and just grab that drink of water. Alright. Here we go. Okay. I will have to pay more attention to where we're headed this time. Specifically the siding that these will be getting dropped off on. And I do believe as part of Build 81, which was the update that the devs at Alt Future released over the weekend, they mentioned that one of the changes that they were making in this release was that freight hauls would always have their own dedicated inbound siding that would be clear of other rail cars. So I think there's a good chance that we should be able to just take the train straight on into whatever siding it calls for. Matthew, I should hook up to the other train in the yard. I think you're probably talking about the locomotive there, and I could definitely run a double header for this, but it's actually lighter than the last train that we just hauled, and somewhat significantly so. I think the last one was 500 and some odd tons. So I think with a train under 300 tons, we should be pretty set to be able to haul this to its destination. I am still going to go ahead and service this locomotive at Oil Well Central as we're passing through. I can also take a look at the time. Probably started this at like 7:38, and our time bonus here is set at 64 minutes. Okay, this might actually be a little bit longer of a haul. So we're looking at probably like 8:38 be our like target time. definitely say that it is nice to see that, well, rather to not see any of the hills turning white in the southwest region as they used to. So it's good to know that the devs have gotten that particular bug under control and squashed it. That was one I know folks kept bringing up that predated the Overhauled update and was still an issue after the update, but they took care of in the latest build, number 81. And it was one of the things that they specifically addressed in their changelog. Captain Juka, you made it. Welcome. What did you miss? We took we hauled some logs from Forest Central down to the southwest at the sawmill, and had some difficulty getting the train into the station there because we were pulling over 500 tons with a single shunter, but split the train in two and were able to pull it into its destination track. And so now we've got some, I think they're planks or lumber or something of that nature, and we are headed to Goods Factory in town with them. We're going to be doing a short stop for service in a moment at Oil Well Central, as we're almost out of sand here and certainly running low on fuel. And Oil Well has probably the more accessible of the diesel service machines, than, at least more so than Steel Mill does, and certainly more accessible than the non-existent one at Goods Factory. And you probably also missed the announcement that I'm beginning to run a fundraiser, which you'll see, I guess, a progress meter for at the bottom of the stream today, which is in support of the Advancement Project, which is a group dedicated to bringing about a better and more fair and just world for people of color. If you're familiar with the events going on in the United States right now, there is a lot of unrest over what has been allowed to happen to people of color in this nation. And so I'm just trying to do my part and use my platform to support that cause, but there's definitely some incentive for folks who donate, because if you donate $5 or more, you can select a raffle entry as a reward, and the raffled item will be copies of this game, Derail Valley, which I guess if you're not familiar with the going rate is $19.99 on Steam, so $5 to get a to be entered to win a $20 game seems like a pretty good deal in my book, and the money goes to a great cause. So I do hope that folks will... Are they just not connected? Somehow this was connected. What is... Okay, that seems like a bug. But yeah, so certainly take a look at that. If you can find it within yourself and your wallet to donate to that project. And as I've mentioned before this, I don't, like, the money doesn't touch my hands at all. It goes directly to the advancement project. And there's actually this website called Tiltify that I discovered through some tweets that make that possible. So it's I'm pretty glad that things like that exist and make this sort of thing possible. But yeah. All right, let's get some more fuel and some more sand here. Like that, oh, I think I've perhaps overshot it. Perhaps I have not. Can't tell, is that lit or is that just gloss from the sun? I think that's gloss from the sun. Alright. Well, I do like the indication of where you need to be to service the locomotive. And I'm going to take a guess that, like other things, it's where the wheels are that matters. And honestly, I could shut the locomotive down to do this, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it while it's running, because it's not that big of a deal, and I don't need to be buying licenses or anything right now, so I don't need it to be truly at 100% when I'm done with this. Yeah. Okay. Right. Just a quick pit stop here, and we'll be getting on our way again, headed to Goods Factory. Soon. Definitely have developed a pretty good stockpile of in-game currency here that I think we should be able to get the E6 license soon enough. But that'll probably have to be on a stream on another day. We'll just work on completing this haul for today. Might have been a bit rough there. Hopefully it was not. Okay. That was a close call, I suppose. Alright, we'll give it a moment for the train brake to build up some pressure here. And I'm just catching up on the chat here. Captain Juka, oh bugger, missed a lot. You're sorry? You're here for the rest. No good. I'm sorry, not no good, but all good, rather. And it sounds good to you. You need to stop and have a cup of tea, read about it, and see what you can do. You have this game, huh? Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I can do for folks who might already have the game like you do. And definitely open to suggestions of what folks would like to see as incentives, and I'll keep thinking on it on my own too and see what I can come up with. And you understand the good cause, but at the moment your money is going. You are from Sweden but live in the UK, and right now lockdown is bad. No doctors, no hospital unless you have the virus. It's sad. Yeah, that's it's definitely a rough time all around, that's for sure. And I think here in the States it's definitely causing tensions to be even higher than they might otherwise be, although, you know, how much higher do tensions get than, you know, organized state-sanctioned violence against your people? So, but anyway, yeah, thanks for your support, if only it is in words. I understand, you know, not everyone has the free cash flow, so I do at least appreciate the, you know, anything that can be done, even if that doesn't involve, you know, cash donations to the cause. And that's just definitely where it seems like I'm able to contribute the most. I'm just hoping to perhaps, you know, leverage what little platform I have here on YouTube to make my impact a little bit greater. Kevin Juka, can you ask what VR am I using? Okay, yeah, so I'm using Oculus Rift. It's the first generation. And it's just no particular reason why I'm using it. It's just what I have access to at the moment, so I'm not really looking to invest any money in getting a different system, because this works just fine at the moment. But definitely has its weak points, and you know, like, I'm sure most of you folks can already read the signs for these sightings out here, but I start making out the text right about here, so oh no, you can't work. Yeah, that's rough. And you subbed, thank you for that. That definitely does not help the cause, and there's no onus on anyone to subscribe in order to support the fundraising that I'm hoping to do here. But definitely there's a link in the description to the fundraiser page. And you know, one thing that you can do if you're not able to donate yourself is you can always share that link around with friends of yours who might have the cash flow and might be able to donate. And that would definitely that would mean a lot to me, and it would mean a lot to folks who benefit from the donations and hopefully see their lives getting better. And you say you don't have VR, so you wouldn't know where to start. Yeah, I definitely kind of was in a similar situation when I wound up with this system, and it was kind of my first instance of dipping my toes into the VR world. There's definitely a lot a lot of stuff going on out there with VR and you know, better technology than what existed a few years ago when it was just getting started in the consumer space. And some cool tech, but definitely still an up-and-coming tech, I'd say. But I think there's definitely a limit that we will reach at some point where, at some point soon, honestly, I think, where there's not going to be too much more immersion or realism that you can, you know, eke out of the hardware. And I think we're headed towards that point, but we definitely have not reached it yet. At least from what I've heard. There's definitely some promising tech out there. Like I was reading up on, I think the company is called Pimax, and they make a supposedly 8K VR system where each eye gets 4K resolution, and they're currently developing a version of that that has native resolution. The existing version that they have does some upscaling to get to that resolution, but I've heard from some folks in the industry that it definitely alleviates the what they call the like screen door effect, where you can almost kind of like actually see the pixels that are being rendered, and it almost looks like you're looking through the mesh of a screen door. And I can definitely say that that is something that I encounter using the original Oculus system, and something that I would be excited to experience. You know, the crystal clarity that they supposedly are developing with this 8K system. And I think their other selling point too is they have something like 200 degrees of field of view, which gives more periphery and kind of what do you call it? Mitigates the kind of scuba mask effect that otherwise happens. But definitely just fun to get in here and drive some trains around, even if the visual clarity is not top notch. And definitely, I've played this game both with a mouse rather, and keyboard, and also in VR. And I can definitely say, as fun as it is to use to do it, you know, mouse and keyboard style, it's definitely far more immersive in VR. You totally feel like you're in the space. Which is kind of, it just takes it to the next level. And Captain Juka, you'll spread the word. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. And actually, now that I say the word appreciate, I think I may have said this before, but you know, as much as I appreciate it, the folks who that money goes to help, I'm sure appreciate it even more. So thank you. Captain Juka, did I know that you're sub number 90? No, I did not, but now I do. And I will say thank you very much for subscribing. Welcome aboard to the channel, and hope you enjoy what you see. let's go ahead and open up the throttle here and see what this locomotive can do. And the engine is starting to overheat, but I believe we are also coming up on a sharp turn up ahead. We definitely made our way up to 75 kilometers an hour there, so that's pretty good. I'll take it. And definitely hoping that that has helped us with perhaps achieving the time bonus this time. That is yet to be seen. I think I'll also take a moment here, now that I can throttle back up a bit, to check out the schematic for goods factory and see where we're headed. We are headed to track D6I. That is what I just put away. So D is in the back over here. And 6I is right on in there. And I think, like I said, I think that part of the Build 81 update was such that freight hauls now go to an exclusively empty inbound track at the destination. So I think we should not have much to worry about when it comes to other rail cars blocking the path. We should just be able to pull it right on in straight ahead. Ooh, 40 on this side. Let's hope we can get that speed down. At least enough that we don't fall off. And okay. Seems like we're doing all right here. A lull at that speed, yes. But here we are, safe and sound. Definitely some headroom there on that corner to go a little bit faster than the recommended speed, and I am very thankful for it. was hoping we might have been able to coast a bit there, but looks like we're still heading up a little bit of an incline here. We'll give it some more power. Alright, here we are, arriving at goods factory in town. I'm gonna take I'm actually going to first, oh no, I think our speed's alright here. I'm gonna take a little hop and a skip over here and see if our destination track is indeed empty, and it certainly is. So let's catch back up with our train here. Take a look at that schematic overview one more time. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and can actually put that away. And actually, yeah, it looks like these are all set up to run straight on through here. And we're going to do just that. Alright, we're just pulling in here. Nearly at the destination now, and I think we're doing pretty well in terms of time limit for that pay bonus. I'm going to go ahead and power down the locomotive since this will be our last haul for the stream today. We will go turn in this job. There we go. All right, did pretty well on time there. All right. Oh, come on. I give up. Okay. But yeah, so that's that. Here we are in goods factory in town. And actually, I kind of wonder if I can climb this. Ooh. It looks like I might be able to. I don't know if I can get to the top, though. Can I? Yes. Yes. Oh, no. Definitely takes some accuracy, but I think I can get up on top of this. There we go. Alright, so here we are on top of the smokestack at Goods Factory in town. And thank you so much for joining the stream today. And again, if it is within your means to donate to Advancement Project, go ahead and use that link down in the description. And yeah, I'll see you next time here in the valley. Toodles.